What is up, lads? How's it going? How are you getting on? And welcome back to the channel. The last game week before the World Cup is nearly upon us, so in this video we look at how I fared out in Gameweek 15 along with my transfer plans for Gameweek 16. We're trying to hit 2,250 subs before the World Cup, so if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please hit that sub button below. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. We start off the Gameweek review at 2 PM on Saturday with the news Haaland was on the bench, and that led to another FPL website crash. I frantically tried to get rid of Foden and Mitrovic with 10 minutes to go, and after some panic attempts, my transfers went through and I was able to bring in De Bruyne and give him the armband. Once kickoff began, it didn't start off great, with Cancelo getting sent off, but luckily in the last minute KDB was fouled in the area and Haaland stepped up to score the winner. That penalty was vital for my team and De Bruyne came away with 14 points from the armband. Moving on to the involvement of my other striker, Solanke was involved in a 7-goal thriller in what turned out to be the best game of the weekend. He came away with a goal after a cheeky back heel which led to a 6-point return, but he possibly could have came away with more if he had his shooting boots on in the game. Brighton were ranked third for the chance of a clean sheet facing a Wolves side that has been shy in front of goals, but they somehow conceded 2, so Dunk came away with a disappointing 1-point return. Let's move swiftly on. On to Sunday's games, and with double Arsenal attack, I was hoping for a goal fest at the Bridge. It was a tame enough derby, with Arsenal winning 1-0, but at least Saka grabbed an assist from a set piece, and I was happy that he returned more over Martinelli, because he's owned by less managers. I'd probably be triple up on Arsenal for the last game week, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. My Crystal Palace clean sheet was wiped out earlier on from a moment of brilliance from Benrahma. The Palace double up has been very disappointing over the last few game weeks, especially after I had a very nice fixture run. I'll definitely be happy to get rid of them both after the World Cup for sure. Kieran Trippier continued his outrageous run of form with another attacking return along with a clean sheet to bring home a 12-point haul. The only downside that left a sour taste was Pope losing his clean sheet late on. Trippier was taken off before they lost their clean sheet though, and he's definitely been one of my favourite players to own all season. On to the last game of the game week, and I badly needed a Salah haul for the chance of a green arrow. The Egyptian King returned to his fine form with 2 goals that led to a monster 15-point haul. I'm glad I kept the faith in him, as most managers got rid of him for De Bruyne, but I was one of the lucky ones that could afford both. All of these returns led to a total score of 64 points for the week, and I managed to get a green arrow, and I'm now sitting at 359k overall. If I'm around the 200k mark after the round of Gameweek 16 games, I'll be happy with that going into the World Cup. Ultimately, all I want is a green arrow this week, so I don't have to look at a red arrow for a month. Looking ahead to Gameweek 16, FPL Salah has once again provided us with the clean sheet odds for the weekend's games. Managers will be happy in the fact that João Cancelo served his 1-game suspension during the cup game against Chelsea, so he should be back in the starting 11 for the early kick-off on Saturday. Arsenal and Liverpool make up the top 3 spots, so if you're looking for a defender this week, I'll be focusing on their defences for the hopes of some clean sheets. Managers will be hoping Erling Haaland is back in the starting 11 this week, as he's once again the lone leader for the chance of a goal. It's good news for Salah owners as well, as he makes the top 3 behind Alvarez. With the sacking of Hassan Hüttl, I think Liverpool could run riot before the break. With it being the last game week before the World Cup break, it gives managers a chance to take a punt on some players this week. We will all have unlimited transfers after the World Cup, so taking a punt on someone is definitely recommended this week. Here are the best differentials for Gameweek 16 with less than 10% ownership. Looking at the defensive options for Gameweek 16, Ben White and Luke Shaw are the standout picks this week. Ben White has only blanked once in his last 7 games, and Arsenal face a Wolves side with the worst attack in the league. He's also the cheapest way into the Arsenal defence, and I'd definitely be confident of a clean sheet this weekend. Luke Shaw is also a man in fine form, and he hasn't blanked in his last 5 games. He's also on set pieces, and with Mitrovic set to miss out this weekend for Fulham, United could be on course for a clean sheet. Andy Robertson is also a good shout for a differential this week with 4% ownership, so if you can afford him, I'd recommend going for him. Moving on to the midfield picks, I've gone for Kulusevski and James Maddison. Kulusevski has got a goal and 4 assists this season, which has led to 1 double-digit haul. He looked very lively coming off the bench against Liverpool last weekend, and with only 2 clean sheets for Leeds all season, I'm expecting there to be goals for Spurs. James Maddison is a man in form, with 6 goals and 4 assists this season, leading to 2 double-digit hauls, and with the added bonus on set pieces, I think he's a shout for this weekend. West Ham have only kept 3 clean sheets all season, so if Leicester score, Maddison will surely be involved. Moving on to the striker options, Darwin Núñez and Dominic Solanke are my favourite differentials up front. Núñez has already got 3 goals and 2 assists this season, and he's also racked up an amazing 0.9 XG per 90 minutes. This shows how dangerous he can be. Southampton have only kept 1 clean sheet this season, so surely Liverpool will get a few this weekend. If you can afford the swap, he's my top Mitrovic replacement. Dominic Solanke is also a massive differential at only 5.4% owned. Everton have looked better at the back lately, but I still expect Bournemouth to score, so hopefully Solanke will be involved. Transferring Mitrovic to Solanke this week will be a popular move amongst managers. With the Gameweek 16 deadline approaching, here's some tips I'd be advising on ahead of tomorrow's deadline. I'd advise on having a plan in place if Haaland isn't starting if we get some early City team news. Be mindful that if Haaland isn't starting, there could be another web crash similar to the last 2 weeks. If you're transferring in players this week, I'd target City, Liverpool and Arsenal as they have the most favourable fixtures. If you have the funds available, Darwin Núñez is definitely the best Mitrovic replacement this week, and with 1 game left before the break, don't be afraid to take a punt. Lastly, avoid a hit if possible. It will be very hard to make the points difference in one round of games. Looking ahead to my own transfer plans for this week, I'll be waiting until we get some City team news before I hit the transfer button. If Haaland is starting, I'll probably be looking at a defensive transfer this week. Even though Palace face Forest, I don't trust a double up, so I'll be looking at bringing in Arsenal cover for the fixture against Wolves. Ben White is a perfect cheap way into the Arsenal defence, and they are ranked 3rd for the chance of a clean sheet this week. It's a boring transfer, but I'll be hoping it turns into a 6-point return. If Haaland is starting this week, I'll be switching my formation to a 4-4-2. This leaves my lineup as follows: Pope in goals, Cancelo, Trippier, Ben White and Guehi in defence, Salah, De Bruyne, Martinelli and Saka in midfield, and Solanke and Haaland up front. Looking at captaincy, it's a pretty easy option this week. If Haaland is starting, he'll definitely be getting the armband. However, if the City League shows Haaland is on the bench, I'll be giving the captaincy to Salah. I'll be locking in my team fully on Saturday morning, so don't forget to follow me at FPL Era on Twitter and Instagram, where I'll post my locked in team before the deadline. If you've made it to the end of the video, please hit that like button, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There you have it, there's my Gameweek 16 team. Best of luck for Gameweek 16, I'll see you in the next video.